a human phenomenon.
Are you saying that as opposed to just looking at it as a Jewish problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've heard a little bit about the organization. We've heard a little bit about the Holocaust. But what I'd like to hear about is about the man himself, the man who started this organization. Let's hear a little bit about Lou Zablow.
Lou Zablow was born Ludwig Zablodowski on March 10, 1924, in Lodz, Poland. An only child, he lost both parents during the war, his father in the Lodz ghetto and his mother in Auschwitz. He's the only surviving member of the Zablodowski family, which prior to the Holocaust consisted of 100 people. 1939 marked the beginning of World War II, and Zablow, only 15 years old, spent the following 4 years in the Lodz ghetto. The war found him imprisoned in 6 different concentration camps, including Auschwitz, Liberos, Falkensee, Sachsenhausen, Mauthausen, and Gunskirchen, before he and other survivors were liberated by the Americans. The struggle, however, was far from over, for he had contracted typhus, which left him at a meager 35 kilograms. He then found his way back to Lodz, where he met Edith Elkin. The two were married, and with the help of the Jewish Immigrant Aid Service, arrived in Canada on October 5, 1949. Virtually penniless, Zablow's only possessions were a few clothes and a camera. The couple had 2 sons, Michael and Danny. Zablow went on to initiate a series of highly successful business ventures in real estate, construction, and automation. Driven by the events of his past and the shocking realization that neo-Nazi activities are being supported in North America, he became the founding president of the Association of Survivors of Nazi Oppression. Prior to this time, Lou Zablow's voluntary career reads rather bleakly. As a youth, he was a member of a Zionist scout movement, Hanawar Hassioni. Having taught Jewish history to groups of ghetto children, he did some peripheral work with illegal settlers going to Palestine. And other than this, Zablow was involved in a minor capacity with the General Zionist Organization, part of Zionim Klalim, a movement no longer in existence. In 1960, however, at age 36, a man virtually inexperienced as a community leader founded the Association for Survivors of Nazi Oppression, a successful but rather controversial group within the Jewish community. One of the achievements of the group was the presentation of a private member's bill by MPs James Walker and Milton Kline, designed to secure legislation against incitement to hatred on the grounds of race, color, or creed. The underlying goal of the organization is to prevent Nazism from existing in Canada. Mr. Zablow was the first survivor to sit on the Canadian Jewish Congress National Executive. He was also vice chairman of the CJC Eastern Region, was on the board of trustees of the Allied Jewish Community Service, was a governor of the Young Men's Hebrew Association, and was also a past president of a B'nai B'rith Lodge. The survivor's position can best be focused in Lou Zablow's words. If the survivors of Nazism seem a little impatient, please remember we've been to hell and back. We are the living witnesses of a destruction unprecedented in recorded history. A methodical destruction by intelligent beings whose only reason for this was their fanatical belief in their right to inherit the world, even if it were to go up in smoke first.
I'm interested in the unpopularity of your group. Okay, that's what I'm interested in. Your group was basically unpopular to start, and now you say it's gained a lot of respectability and popularity. Why the change?
Well, I think at that time, this was a strange subject to talk about. And we are maybe ourselves at fault, because the survivors themselves didn't want to talk about it. You know, when you... this is like a nightmare that you want to sort of push behind you.
Which would be the most natural thing to do, I would think.
Of course. And this is what we did. When I was sort of looking at my future. And I was 15 years old when the war started. And when I was liberated, I wanted really to go on and live and start a family. On top of it was the fact that I was the only survivor. We had a big family, about 1,200 people, and I was really the only survivor left. I met my wife in Austria, who was even younger than I was, and she also was alone. And when we got married in Austria, we were thinking of coming to Canada, to a free country, away, as far away from Europe, and the places where all our members of my family died and all millions died. We still wanted to start a new life, and I wanted to forget it.
So,
and I would forget it, if not that event in 1960, where we felt that if nobody does anything about it, we had to do something about it.
but you kept going. Like it just didn't stop at that event because
No.
your organization grew.
Of course, we had about 4,000 members. At that time, within about a year or two, we started to work on two fronts. By the way, you mentioned something about remembering.
Yeah.
Remembrance, and you compare this to remembering, the Remembrance Day, the war, and so on.